YouTube user Advocate1234 who wanted to debate. Initially, I thought, okay, you know, what are we going to debate? And when he said Hugo Chavez, with everything that's going on in this country, we're going to debate Hugo Chavez, like, why? So I had no idea what his political leanings were. Watched one of his videos, and I realized, well, debate is pointless. But the video was rather funny. It's called 20 Questions for Democrats, I think. I will link to it in the sidebar. And it's basically 20 of the most ridiculous questions aimed to stump leftists, liberals, progressives, wherever you're at on the left. And it show us why we have not won the hearts and minds of the American people. So I'm not going to respond to all of the questions, but I have chosen a few. I'm going to, you know, you'll hear him ask his question, whatever retarded stuff he has to say, and then I will respond. So check it out.
In this video, I will outline 20 questions asking liberals, progressives, and Democrats to explain why I should be left of center, why I should be a Democrat, why I should be a progressive, or why I should be a liberal. If my questions stump you, it may demonstrate why the left has never won the hearts and minds of the majority of the American people.
Why? Why are we more popular? Oh, you know, this whole, why aren't your leftist ideas more popular? Why haven't you won the hearts and minds of the American people? It's an article of faith of those on the right. It's not backed up by a shred of evidence. It's just repeated ad nauseum by them in the echo chamber of the right. The fact is, we have extensive information on popular opinion in this country. It's something that's well studied, well understood, and the American people, by and large, are far to the left of the major ruling class parties in this country on almost every major issue. Healthcare. The American people want universal healthcare. Unions. The American people want to form and belong to unions. The war in Iraq, they want it over. Social spending, Americans are for it. Education, I mean, you go on and on through the list, the major issues, the American people are far to the left. Does it mean they're radical anarchists that are ready to destroy the state? No. But they are far to the left of the major ruling class parties. And it's just, it's ridiculous to say otherwise. Furthermore, what people like Advocate1234 do is completely ignore the long and oppressive history against leftists in this country. I mean, you know, pick a time, but, you know, the Haymarket affair comes to mind, and the immediate arrest of hundreds and hundreds of leftist, anarchist, union organizers. You go on and on. We have the Ludlow massacre, numerous massacres of workers doing nothing more than trying to organize and advocate for a better deal, you know, for the things that we all take for granted now, like health coverage, pensions, vacations, safe working environment, you know, some dignity on the job. All these things that we take for granted now were fought and won, you know, in a very brutal campaign. And their ideas were immensely popular. That's why the leaders had to be murdered, jailed. We had things like COINTELPRO against leftists, the Palmer raids, the numerous arrests of people like Emma Goldman, Charles Schneck, Big Bill Haywood. We can go on and on. You know, the constant surveillance of people like Malcolm X, Martin Luther King Jr. You know, these things, leftists do not have it easy in this country, and it's precisely because our ideas are so popular and they resonate with working people who are struggling now. Our ideas are popular. That's why there's such an effort to marginalize them, to discount them, to make sure that they're not heard.
Question number 1. The Democratic Party claims that it supports the worker. So why do Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid promise to abolish the secret ballot for unions if Barack Obama is elected president?
There's not a shred of truth to this question. Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid do not promise to abolish the secret ballots. um, if Barack Obama is elected president. What this guy's talking about is the Employee Free Choice Act. The fact is that under the proposed legislation, workers would get to choose the union formation process, elections, or majority sign-up. Under current law, the choice to recognize a union rests only with employers. So there's nothing about the Employee Free Choice Act that would abolish secret ballots. It certainly hasn't been a promise made by Nancy Pelosi or Harry Reid or any other Democrat or Republican that supports this legislation. Um, and what we can tell from this, though, is that, one, the advocate has never read the Employee Free Choice Act, doesn't know a thing about it, and certainly doesn't understand why unions are pushing for this measure, because in today's climate, it is extremely difficult to form a union, even if the majority of workers want to form a union. When faced with organizing campaigns, 25% of employers illegally fire pro-union workers. 51% of employers illegally threaten to close down workplaces if the union prevails, and 34% of employers coerce workers into opposing the union with bribes and favoritism. These are statistics, but I've lived it, I've seen it, it happens. I've had numerous friends fired for organizing campaigns. It is heartbreaking, it is gut-wrenching, and there's little that within the law that can be done, because, yeah, there's back wages paid, but a lot of businesses just see it as a cost of keeping non-union. To further illustrate his ignorance, Advocate 1234 had these insightful comments to sum up the Employee Free Choice Act.
This will only help union bosses get more dues rather than actually allowing the workers to work if they should choose not to unionize by themselves.
That was such an unintelligent sentence. I just want to play it back just to have another good laugh.
This will only help union bosses get more dues rather than actually allowing the workers to work if they should choose not to unionize by themselves.
Advocate, do us a favor. Maybe peruse the Employee Free Choice Act before you comment on it, and perhaps familiarize yourself with how unions are formed, the history of how unions have traditionally been formed, and try not to say such silly things like that.
Number 7. Why do you believe urban sprawl and overpopulation is a problem? 95% of America's land is completely undeveloped. That means if we doubled our land usage, 90% of it would still be untouched. It would also be possible to take every human being on the face of the planet and put that person in the state of Texas, where they would have more living space than the average European. We are not running out of space on this planet.
This is just ridiculous. If we were self-contained units, didn't need any external support, yeah, it'd be great. We could stuff every human in Texas. But the fact is, we need lots and lots and lots of land to produce the food we eat, to produce the goods that we all use and need, and it's simply not possible for all that to be done with the land in Texas. If he can show me otherwise, I will be very impressed. Otherwise, the example is completely ridiculous.
Why do you support universal health care when it is demonstrated to be a failure in countries like Canada, Britain, and other countries in Europe, where they have to ration care, and when citizens of Canada get really sick, they come to Buffalo, Detroit, Seattle, and Cleveland to actually save their lives?
Ah, yes, our wonderful healthcare system. Ranked 37th among the nation's healthcare systems, not bad. In fact, it's the #1 reason Americans file for bankruptcy. It's such a great system that we collectively spend more than any nation on earth for our healthcare, and yet 100 million of us have no access to the healthcare system. It's great, wonderful. And Advocate 1234, you've made it very clear that you don't know what you're talking about. Thanks a lot. Have a great night, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. Peace.
No matter how hard you try, you can't stop us now.